National Broadcasting Company presents the National Football League. Today, from Sullivan Stadium, it's the Cincinnati Bengals versus the New England Patriots. Brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. By the 1987 German-engineered Volkswagens and your Volkswagen dealers. And by Radio Shack, your Christmas electronics store.
It is a 41-degree brisk day in New England. Another sellout crowd, 61,000 at Sullivan Stadium in Foxborough. And if the Patriots win today, they will clinch at least a wild card berth for the playoffs. The Jets, who have been struggling, play the 49ers later on in San Francisco. In the AFC Central, the Bengals feel they must win the remaining three, which includes next week against Cleveland. Their best shot is to win the division. Hi, everybody. Marv Albert along with Bob Greasy. And in this 14th week of the NFL season, this is a pivotal game for both clubs. And Bob, last week in Denver, the Bengals just killed themselves with critical mistakes.
It was a big mistake at the wrong time of the game as far as the Bengals were concerned. Shotgun, Dave Remington doesn't hear the snap count, snaps it when he thought it was ready to be snapped, and a critical mistake, as you said. But the thing that you have to learn from that mistake is if you can't hear, you get back up under center.
Well, the Patriots are on a sparkling run. They have won 7 in a row, and they have done it over the last 4 weeks with opportunistic type plays.
Well, different types of plays. Last week it was Eugene Profit, a rookie out of Yale, who came in late in the game, blocked the punt, and Mosi Tatupu runs it in. Now, this is the 6th time this year that New England, special team or defense, has scored a touchdown.
And we may see more of Mosi Tatupu today. Craig James will sit it out because of a knee injury, and that Patriot running game has been invisible.
Well, it hasn't been there, that's for sure. And Tony Eason has carried the load. Not a lot of people in New England area have given him the credit, but compared with last year, he's having an outstanding season.
And last week against New Orleans, Eason 22 for 38, 271 yards, while Cincinnati's explosive offense is generated by Boomer Esiason, who went 21 for 30 last week in the loss to Denver. Right off the kickoff, this is the rookie from Tennessee, Tim McGee. Across the 25-yard line, Steve Doig in on the stop. And the Cincinnati Bengals, record of 8-5, second in the AFC Central behind 9-4 Cleveland. Lineup like this: James Brooks, all-purpose back, Stanley Wilson are the runners, Chris Collinsworth, Eddie Brown, Rodney Holman, outstanding receivers for the Bengals. And Esiason goes sideline on first down. And he has Brooks out of the 34, 6-yard pickup, covered by the outside linebacker, Don Blackman. A massive front line for the Cincinnati Bengals. Anthony Munoz at 278 pounds, Kozerski 275, Remington 288. All right, the no-huddle offense getting right to it here. Sam Weiss wasting no time. Picks up the first down with Brooks, but a flag has been thrown. A 10-yard pop by James Brooks. The free safety, Fred Marion, on the stop. But a penalty will bring it back.
Thrown by the umpire, and you normally have holding in that situation.
Number 65, offense.
And that is what it is. The right guard, Max Montoya, called on the hold.
Look to the left of your screen, number 65 right there in the center now. To the left, had his arm wrapped around. That's a hold. Al Conway, the umpire today, right there to make the call.
Referee this afternoon, Rob McElwee. Brooks and Wilson are the running backs for the 2nd and 14. And a bullet thrown by Esiason. Eddie Brown, the wide receiver, stopped by the strong safety, Roland James. It is short of the first down. And setting the Patriots defensively up front, the rookie Brent Williams. Garen Veras having a sensational season with 11 sacks. This is the 3-4 alignment. We will see much of what the Patriots call a 4-3. What with all the injuries suffered by New England. Outstanding cornerman Lepet and Claiborne. It's a 3rd down and 6. And Brooks right at the 1st down marker. James Brooks picked up 7 on the play. And it is a 1st down for Cincinnati. Blackman and Claiborne on the coverage of Brooks, who comes in averaging 5 yards per carry. And he's run for 802 yards, also an excellent receiver.
He is the man that has made big plays for the Bengals most all of the year. The last 3 weeks, he's been contained by the defense, figuring that they want to stop him first if they possibly can.
All right, Collinsworth, top of your picture, and Brown at the near side. Here's Brooks with the acceleration for another 1st down and more. Brooks able to break a tackle along the way. 53-yard run for Brooks.
Well, we just mentioned how other defensives try to stop James Brooks. He is the big play man in their backfield. Takes a pitch out, gets good blocking. Reynolds 95 and Marion 31. Both are blocked. Marion gets around it a little bit. Does a good job now to stay in bounds. The Bengals with the most balanced offensive team in the National Football League. They're 4th rushing the ball and 7th passing and 2nd overall. So they can run or pass. A real problem for the defense.
And they have a 1st and goal at the 8-yard line. Stanley Wilson gets to the 5. Brent Williams on the stop, but a penalty marker is tossed. And it is a hold against Cincinnati. So the 2nd holding penalty during the course of these opening minutes to set the Bengals back.
Holding number 81, offense. Still 1st down.
James Brooks, number 21, I believe, was the man who was called. Or it was 81. Brown, the wide receiver from Miami. But Marvin, that's 2 holding penalties on this drive. Normally, a 10-yard penalty will add it on to the yardage you need. It's pretty tough to overcome. The first one, the Bengals just ran right through and overcame it very quickly.
So it is a 1st and goal back at the 18. The tight end 82 Holman running over to the left side. Esiason looking right with the time. Able to complete to Collinsworth. Chris Collinsworth on the reception. Catch number 56 on the season for Collinsworth. Roland James, the strong safety, on the stop. And Sam Weiss going right to the no-huddle offense.
Well, I think it's good, Marv, because what it does is it hurries the defense. You don't know whether or not you can get your defensive substitutions into the game.
2nd and goal from the 9. Esiason has hit 4 of his first 4. Back to the ground for Brooks, picking his way.
Brooks carried.
And Reynolds, an inside linebacker, on the stop. What a start for James Brooks.
Well, he's made up for that holding. Take a look at it from the end zone. Fred Marion is 31, the leader on the Bengals in tackles. Collinsworth gets a good block on Marion, and it's going to be, that's 3rd and short. Collinsworth knows who to block because Marion leads this New England team in tackles.
It is a 3rd and goal from about the 1.5. Esiason had some problems with the snap, and New England has recovered. Well, earlier we talked about the critical mistakes that the Bengals have made. A couple of bad ones last week, and right here they get down to the 1 and cough it up.
Well, this was a bad center quarterback exchange. There was no problem with the cadence or the snap count, but another critical mistake early in the game this time.
The Patriots, #1 in the NFL in that department of giveaway takeaway, a +18, and that Cincinnati drive 7 plays, 71 yards, and Bob, all for naught.
It's got to be a big boost for New England to turn the ball over, as the defense has done so often this year. And of course, on the other side, the Bengals coming in here, a great drive, and then turn it over has to be some disappointment.
So New England, from its one, they go double tight end, the quarterback Tony Eason, and the handoff to Tony Collins. Picked up a couple. Reggie Williams, the outside linebacker, on the stop.
Marv, let's look at this again. Now, when the center blocks to our left and the quarterback turns the opposite direction, both his rear end and the quarterback's hands are going in opposite directions. So there are certain plays that a quarterback has to know that he has to stay in there a little bit longer. And the center has to make sure that the ball gets back there. That time they weren't together, and the fumble in a critical situation.
2nd and 7 from inside the 4. And again, it is Collins. He's across the 6. Remember, last week the Patriots were held to 2 yards rushing on 18 carries, their lowest rushing total in the history of the franchise. Quick check of the scoreboard. Everything just underway, and we have goose eggs. It is a 3rd down and 4. Atlanta leading Indianapolis 7-0. The head coaching debut of Ron Meyer as head man of the Indianapolis Colts. Ron, of course, former head man here with the Patriots. Eason able to complete for the 1st down. The tight end, Greg Beatty, who's been a major factor the last few weeks. Reggie Williams on the stop. What with the injury suffered by Greg Hawthorne, Beatty has been a money receiver for the Patriots.
Well, that's a big confidence booster right here for Tony Eason. Throwing on 3rd down, the 3rd play of the game from your own end zone. The first time you throw a pass, it's in from your own end zone. It's a critical 1st down and keeps the drive alive.
Patriots 1st down from the 13. And Irving Fryer, who sat out last week, making his first appearance since his little drive at halftime 2 weeks ago. Tony Collins. Robert Jackson, the free safety, on the stop. Now checking out the Patriots offensively. This the alignment that started the game with Collins and Tutupu as the running backs, Morgan and Fryer and Beatty, the receivers. Paul Fairchild is back, sat out last week with a groin pull, was replaced by Trevor Maddich. It is a 2nd and 5 from the 18. 6 minutes gone by. In this 1st quarter, we have no score. And end around for Fryer. The rookie linebacker, Joe Kelly, stopping Fryer on the reverse. A 24-yard pickup.
But both teams come in with all their guns loaded. New England #1 in the league in scoring points. The Bengals #4, a reverse early in the game from your own neck of the woods, so to speak, down in your own territory. A gutsy call, Steve Grogan on the sideline. And when it works, it's the right call.
Always. 1st down at the 42-yard line. That's Fryer, 80 in motion. Tutupu. Stopped by right defensive end Ross Browner with some help from the outside linebacker Reggie Williams. Up front, the Bengals with Eddie Edwards, Tim Crumry, and Ross Browner. Crumry leading Cincinnati with 95 tackles. The linebackers, the rookie Kelly has been outstanding. He's playing with a bruised shoulder today. And in the secondary, veteran in the left corner, Lewis Breeden. A rookie, Lewis Billups on the right side. Fulcher and Jackson are the deep men. Now Greg Hawthorne in the backfield. That was the plan because the Patriots are short-handed. Collins on the carry, getting out near midfield. Carl Zander, the inside linebacker, making the stop. And And the Patriots have accounted for 40 yards on the ground compared to the 2 a week ago.
Here's Hawthorne right here. Normally a tight end. He's going to come back in and double over the nose because of the injuries to the offensive backs. As you see Hawthorne getting the block on Crumry. Hawthorne is going to be used both as a tight end and a blocking back in the backfield.
It is a 3rd down and 4 at the 48. Now Eason looking to throw, but down he goes. So Eason hauled down Emmanuel King, the outside linebacker. There he is, number 90, second-year man from Alabama, first-round draft pick a year ago, on the sack. And for King, it is his 8th sack of the season. That leads the Bengals.
Well, they have 5 young players on that secondary for the Bengals. As you see, there is good coverage downfield, and Eason, not allowing himself any time to scramble, just takes the sack.
So a long series by the Patriots, but forced to punt. Rich Camarillo comes off an outstanding game last week against New Orleans. Back behind his 25-yard line, punting to Ray Horton. His way toward the 30, and gang tackle led by Guy Morris. 43-yard punt, 11-yard return, 6:22 to go in this first quarter. Cincinnati head coach Sam Weish involved in some controversy this past week. It seemed he had kicked the door on the way to the post-game news conference, so a reporter asked him, "Why did you kick the door?"
Get out. This guy's out. How do you kick the door? What is that? I got a question. What's that? You got your mouth. Kick the door. Get him out of here. Get him out. The interview's over unless you get him out.
I guess Sam didn't like the question, Bob.
Well, that's a tough situation. A guy asks a question like that after a very emotional game. I think anybody would react the same way.
And Weish did apologize for the outburst. Eddie Brown on the reception. He apologized to the radio reporter. Not a clever question.
Well, it's a very emotional time out there for people that have never played the game. They don't realize and understand. And of course, last week the Denver game we already showed in the opening, the fumble late in the game on the snap. Sam was pretty upset not only with that but also the officials, and then to come in and face that question right off the bat was just a little too much for him.
The first down play, Stanley Wilson, the ball carrier, although Sam should have controlled himself a little bit more. Ed Reynolds on the stop. It'll be a 2nd down and 5 at the 39. We have no score, 5.5 remaining.
McGrew, number 50, playing for Andre Tippett, does a nice job in standing up Munoz, number 78. An unbalanced line that time for the Cincinnati Bengals.
The swing, a big hit on Stanley Wilson. Roland James, the strong safety, number 38, was right there.
James is the unknown player in that secondary. A lot of the secondary players get a lot of the credit. Claiborne, as you see, a little swing pass. James seeing it all the way. But Claiborne, Tippett leads the team in interceptions, and Fred Marion made the Pro Bowl, but that man right there has played very solidly ever since he started here 5 or 6 years ago.
And the extra defensive back being utilized for this 3rd down and 7. Big rush. Esiason able to get it away, but incomplete. Steve Kreider could not hang on.
Boomer was saying before the game that the nickel and dime package for the Patriots is the best he has seen since he's been a pro. They play very tight coverage, and they don't disguise many things. They just line up and say, this is what we're going to play. You see if you can beat us. And Boomer says there's not a lot of room to get the ball in, but it's very good. And of course, he also said we have good personnel. We'll attack them.
First punt of the day for Jeff Hayes, former Washington Redskin in his 5th year out of North Carolina, averaging only 36 per punt. There's Irving Fryer back. Hayes has the NFL's lowest punting average and net punting average, and Fryer on the fair catch at the 26. Only a 31-yard punt.
Patriots offense will put the ball in.
So New England back to the offense. in just a moment. Patriots head coach Raymond Berry now concerned about his running back and all-around special teams man, Mosi Tatupu, was back in the locker room taking stitches, suffered a lacerated chin on that last series, but the word is he will return. So right now they go with the, well, let's see now. Collins is the single back. Hawthorne. And here is Eason for Hawthorne. Carl Zander, the inside linebacker, making the stop.
Marv, the Patriots came into the game with only 3 healthy running backs. Craig James is out with a knee. We're told that they do not want to play him today. Mostly Tatupu, the only other fullback. The other 2 running backs that are healthy. Collins has some bruised ribs, however, and Dupard, the #1 rookie, is in the game at this point.
All right, Reggie Dupard out of SMU wearing number 21. Meanwhile, Collins splits off to the right side, so Dupard is the lone setback. And here he is. That is his first carry in the NFL. A penalty flag is thrown. Reggie Williams, the outside linebacker, making the stop on Reggie Dupard. Among the nation's leading runners last year. Goes 5'11", 205.
Number 76. Offense. Still second.
That is Brian Holloway called on the hold. Check around the scoreboard. Kansas City with a 3-0 lead on Denver. Chicago jumping in front. Miami and New Orleans are tied at 7. And Indianapolis and Atlanta now tied at 7. So the penalty will negate Dupard's first carry in the NFL. Instead, it's a 2nd down and 12 back at the 24. We have no score, 3:20 left in this first quarter. Fryer in motion. And Eason, who took a pop, goes incomplete. Stanley Morgan, the intended receiver.
Updates in the first quarter. Indianapolis 7, Atlanta 7.
If you can't run the football, as the Patriots have not, then you're going to get some blitzes. Watch right here as the linebacker is going to come around and get in the pocket and give Eason not much time to throw. A little game, the defensive lineman comes inside, and then Wooten does not get back to the outside. And as you see, Eason had to throw the ball way before he wanted to and just threw it to the open area.
Eason is 2 for 3, 14 yards, facing a 3rd down and 12. This time, at the time, but broken up. Nice play by Lewis Phillips, the rookie from Alabama. The pass intended for Irving Fryer. And so a quickie series for the Patriots. And here comes the punting unit.
Rich Camarillo into punt.
Rich Camarillo had a 44-yard punt earlier this first quarter. Last week against New Orleans, 8 punts. He averaged 44 and change, including a 56-yard punt, and put a couple inside the 20. Ray Horton is back deep, waiting at his 33. And another good one. Here is Horton. Good coverage by the Patriots. Steve Doig with another special teams tackle, a 49-yard punt and a 4-yard return.
10, and they'll put the ball in play. They're on 31.
A couple of weeks. They come in like the Patriots at 10-3. First down for Cincinnati. Number 31, and here is Brooks. So Brooks going wide. Ronnie LePet
defensively
on the stop. And there is Andre Tippett, injured linebacker, who it is expected will sit it out today, would only be used in an emergency situation.
I asked Rod Rusk, the defensive coordinator, what it meant to have a healthy Tippett in there, and obviously not to. He said, well, he makes big plays. He's the catalyst. He gets everybody else on the defense involved in the game.
Tippett with those damaged knee ligaments. 2nd down and 4. Stanley Wilson, and a flag has been thrown. Wilson stopped by the outside linebacker, Blackman. of 2 minutes and 45 seconds left in this first quarter. No score. And it's against the Patriots.
Illegal hands, number 42, defense. First down.
Illegal jam against Lepet's got to be up to the face of the player on Collinsworth, right down here at the bottom. Go to see it as he comes off the line of scrimmage. He jams him. Well, I didn't see anything. It's just a shove, but that's defensive football. I didn't see any jam up around the face.
But it is a first down for Cincinnati. And the acceleration of Brooks. Roland James, the strong safety, on the stop. A reminder to our viewers, we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion of the game. Cleveland now leads Buffalo 7-0 in the first quarter, a score of interest to the Cincinnati Bengals. Miami over New Orleans 14-7. 2nd and 2 at the New England 44-yard line. Wilson. And a little extracurricular action. Ed Reynolds, number 95, made the stop. And a penalty flag throw. The officials trying to stop it before it gets out of hand.
A lot of flags early in the game, Marv. I think both teams a little anxious, and the officials doing the right thing and trying to control it early.
And the personal foul against the Bengals. So Brian Blados, big tackle involved.
New England has won the last 4 games with the Bengals, and I think the Bengals may be a little frustrated. They've played in the stadium the last 3 years.
Foul, unnecessary roughness, 74 defense, offense, 74 offense.
It is Brian Blados who was called on the personal foul.
Well, let's take a look. Watch for 74 in the dark jersey, right in the middle. They're the top, right at the top there now. He's coming in. Well, we lost him. Let's keep watching. Maybe he'll come back in. Well, I didn't see anything, but I'm sure something went on down there. A lot of shouting and yelling. They don't throw flags for that, though.
And obviously the opinion was that Blados, similar to a National Hockey League situation, was the instigator. The call was made against the right tackle in his 3rd year out of North Carolina, Brian Blados. It'll be a 2nd down and 14.
Comment I was making, Marv, that the Bengals have been up here in New England the last 3 years and have not won a game up here, and I think they're a little frustrated coming in here, and also frustrated by that fumble on the 2-yard line on their opening drive.
Cincinnati's last win against New England was back in '75, and that was at Riverfront in Cincinnati. Right here is Esiason throwing on the run, and it was broken up. The intended receiver, the tight end, Rodney Holman.
Defended by Garen Veras.
And Garen Veras making the play.
The 44.
And he has had a sensational season.
2nd year in the league. Ed Kyatt, the defensive line coach, says he is one of the best there is in the league right now. He's very intelligent, of course, coming out of Stanford. You might expect that to be the case, but he says very quick and sees very well for a defensive lineman.
It is a 3rd and 14, and look at this alignment. Esiason with the time and fires deep. He has Tim McGee. Ernest Gibson on the coverage. A 51-yard pass play.
Ernest Gibson.
Well, there were 4 receivers lined up on the same side of the field, Marv. Nobody in the backfield. Look to the top here. 4 wide receivers. McGee is just going to go straight down the field. As you see to the right of your screen, there are only 2 deep safeties, and they are very deep. Now, the one gets held up, and McGee runs right past him, holds his arm up. Now, he has to come back, and he makes a good play on the ball. But Esiason doing well just to find him and get the ball down there.
McGee, the rookie out of Tennessee, first-round draft pick. Esiason is 7 for 9, has a 1st and goal at the 5. And here's Brooks.
He's close.
teams able to stack him up. Brooks turning away for those extra steps, and his forward progress was stopped.
I think it's a good time to mention, Marv, that the Bengals are running well on the Patriots, but the Patriots are hurting in that defense. We mentioned earlier that Tippett was out. Also out of there, McGrew usually plays inside. Reynolds is inside playing for him because McGrew is outside playing for Tippett. They have a lot of new faces on that defense inside.
And with the Bengals on the doorstep once again, this first quarter has come to a close. Tatupu took a couple of stitches in the locker room a moment ago, getting ready to return. We have seen a bit of the gimmickry of Sam Wyche. What's your feeling about his offensive philosophy?
I like it. I think as many things as you can do offensively to limit the defense or give some confusion to the defense, you're better off.
And as we get underway in the second quarter, Don Blackman with the hit. Folks, the play has been over for seconds as Larry Kinnebrew, who has been in and out of the Sam Wyche doghouse, tried to thunder his way in.
Most spectacular is on the play defensively for Patriots. Third and goal.
So it'll be a third and goal. For Larry Kinnebrew, only a second play the last 3 weeks. Time it is run in by Kinnebrew. Larry Kinnebrew, a fullback and then some, listed at 258 pounds. And he has scored his 8th touchdown of the season. The Bengals take a 6-0 lead.
Well, Kinnebrew is not too happy about not playing full time, and Esiason was saying when he gets in there on short yardage or goal line, he says he does not want to be stopped, and as evidenced right there, just running over some people. But he's got to be at least 265 or 270, and when he's mad, I would not want to be in front of him trying to tackle him.
Now the extra point attempt by Jim Breach. So Cincinnati taking a 7-0 lead, 9 plays, 69 yards over 3 minutes, 28 seconds. 41-degree crisp day in New England. Marv Albert along with Bob Greasy. The Cincinnati Bengals have just taken a 7-0 lead on the New England Patriots. And here is the kickoff from Jim Breach. And it is Stephen Starring from his 5. Out to the 22. Barney Bussey in on the stop. Cincinnati claiming there was a fumble and that they recovered as the officials look to unravel.
Bob McElwee and his crew having a tough time here early in the ball game, keeping these two teams apart.
It's been a very physical start, but it will be New England ball. No fumble is the call. Well, you try what you can, Bob. Cleveland leads Buffalo by the score of 7-0. Giants and Washington still scoreless. Miami over New Orleans in the second quarter. And Pittsburgh leads Detroit now in the second. Mosi Tatupu has made his return to the backfield with Reggie Dupart. First down from the 23. And here's Dupart. Could not make the turn, so now that officially is his first NFL carry. The strong safety David Fulcher able to string it out. That's Fulcher, number 33.
Mosi Tatupu just came back from the locker room, had some stitches in his chin. Now he comes back out. Good blocker, gets a good block on Jackson, but Jackson gives ground and makes the tackle. Tatupu very valuable to this team, especially on their kicking and special teams.
It is a 2nd and 7 from the 26. Now Collins in there with Tatupu. And Eason throws sideline, has the first down with Stanley Morgan. Reggie Williams on the coverage, a 10-yard pass play.
First down.
There's Sam Weich on the sideline talking to his offense. You know, that no-huddle offense, Marv, what it does, it kind of breaks the tempo. It forces the defense to do something they're not used to doing. And Sam is saying that his players like it. He says they get juiced up about it, and they obviously do it very well.
First down from the 36. And some jumping and some flags. And Brian Holloway doing some pointing.
Holloway saying, listen, I know I was offsides.
Number 76.
I know I moved.
Still first down.
But you don't have to come and hit me about it, right? Holloway moving just a little bit too soon. Right here is Holloway anticipates the count. Now the linebacker Williams on that side comes in and says, I'm going to hit you. Holloway says, now I don't like that. I'm going to catch you later on in the game.
It's the second call on Holloway. Here's Dupart to the 32-yard line. Jim Scow, the rookie defensive end out of Nebraska, making the stop. Scow coming on for Eddie Edwards up front with Crumry and Browner. There he is. Cincinnati coaches feel he should add some weight, a little light for a defensive end.
Last play for Cincinnati.
He certainly has done very well. He's come in their fourth man on pass rushing and has played very well.
Second down, 13. And a quick hit. And the ball was jarred as Collins continues to have his difficulties. Emmanuel King on the stop, along with Jim Scow. Collins is wearing special padding to protect a rib injury and really has had difficulties.
Well, the Patriot faithful here giving some boos because of the running plays. Raymond Berry said we're going to try and continue running the football as we see a Patriot down on the play.
Collins is carried.
Yeah, probably Collins with his ribs again. But Berry says we're going to try to continue running, and the Bengals have not shown a good defense against the run.
Collins has carried 5 times for only 12 yards. We'll take a break. Back after this. A moment ago, Tony Collins was held off the field, and Bob looks like he's trying to walk it off.
They were looking at his left ankle, and they carried him off the field, but it looks like he's moving around pretty well.
It is a third down and 14 for New England from the 32. Cincinnati 7, New England nothing. We're early second quarter. And Eason from the shotgun. Good hit by the free safety Robert Jackson on Irving Fryer.
On the reception.
A 10-yard advance, but short of the first down, so the punting unit will check in.
Rich Camarillo into punt.
Irving Fryer sat out last week after suffering a concussion during his halftime automobile accident 2 weeks ago, along with that shoulder injury. And here's Ray Horton awaiting the punt from Camarillo. Horton is back at his 20. Another strong punt by Camarillo. Horton on the return. A 42-yard punt. Jim Bowman on the stop. 14-yard return by Ray Horton. Man who last week in Denver muffed a punt on a fair catch call, which led to a touchdown, although Horton's averaged about 14 yards per return.
Mike Martin, the normal punt returner for the Bengals, is out with an injury, and then of course Horton has got to take it over and has been doing a fair job, but has made a couple of mistakes.
So Cincinnati first down from across the 30-yard line. Boomer Esiason, who emerged last year after spending his rookie season learning the trade. Last year finished second in the AFC behind Ken O'Brien. Goes to the ground. No, a fake and a beauty. Eddie Brown down at the 20. Boomer Esiason on the play action for a 46-yard bomb.
Brown seems to be limping a little bit. It was good play action. As you see, Claiborne, 26, is looking into the backfield. Now, the play action was designed for him and 31, Fred Marion. They were blitzing on the play. Marion came up to make the tackle, and then Brown got behind both of them. A good execution, good call.
Bengals and Patriots territory at the 23.
And Brown comes up hobbling. It is a first down at the New England 23. Stanley Wilson reversing his field. Roland James, strong safety, forced him out.
Wilson knocked out of bounds by Roland James.
Giants and Redskins are still scoreless.
Second down, 11.
Now Miami in front of New Orleans, 21-7. New Orleans playing New England very tough last week. Pittsburgh in front of Detroit, and Atlanta over Ron Meyer and his Indianapolis Colts. It's a 2nd and 11 from the 24. Brooks makes the turn.
Easy, good job.
And bumped out at the 16 by Fred Marion. James Brooks, who has flourished in Cincinnati's diversified passing attack. Man who can catch the ball downfield as well as any back in the NFL, as we saw earlier.
It'll be 3rd down, 3.
They call him shake and bake. He's got so many moves. He can stop and go. The one thing he can't do is block very well, but they don't ask him to do that very often. Cincinnati's offense has all the ingredients: speed at wide receivers, a big back in Kinnebrew and Johnson and Wilson, and then the speed in Brooks.
3rd down, 3. And here's Brooks. Johnny Rembert with several others of his friends all over James Brooks. It is a loss of 11.
For the last 2 plays, the Patriot defense has stretched both teams from side to side. Wilson on the last time as Kinnebrew gets the block on McGrew, but then Rembert scraping to the outside, and there's no place for Brooks to go.
And a field goal attempt coming up for Jim Breach, who has not had a good season. 14 for 28. That is the worst percentage in the NFL. Last week against Denver, missed a 39-yard attempt. Previous week against Minnesota, 1 of 3. It's a 44-yard attempt. Angle to the left. And it is no good. So Jim Breach continues to have us. Cincinnati receiver Steve Kreider, who handles the holding in field goal situations, and here's the attempt by Breach.
Snap was a little bit low and inside. Kreider kind of jammed him. Ed Brady brought in just to do the snapping.
So the Patriots first down from the 27, and Eason going deep. And it is broken up by Lewis Breeden. The pass intended for Irving Fryer. Breeden goes 33. He's 33 years old, but still a good cover man. He was right with Fryer.
Well, obviously the Patriots thought that he was the man to attack because they go deep on him. Breeden sees it all the way, and actually Fryer does a nice job of not allowing him to make the interception. There's Emmanuel King. He thought we had a interception. We got it. No, we don't get it. Doggone it.
All right, 2nd and 10. Eason able to scramble free. Slightly overthrown, intended for the tight end Greg Beatty. Emmanuel King on the coverage.
Cincinnati getting good pressure on Eason. King on Beatty, linebacker, big linebacker, 250 pounds, covering Beatty. Beatty does the right thing. He goes the same direction the quarterback, then pays the price as the ball is almost intercepted by Jackson.
5.5 minutes gone by, 2nd quarter. Cincinnati with a 7-0 lead, and the Bengals dominating in terms of total yardage. Eason is 4 for 8, but only 33 yards on those 4 completions. 3rd down 10. And Eason with the touch pass. Morgan could not hold on, and he was covered by Breeden.
Good tight coverage, but the ball was right there and should have been caught. As Breeden is holding his left arm or shoulder a little bit low. Tight man-to-man coverage. It's a blitz. It's an all-out blitz, so it's man-to-man coverage everywhere he goes. This ball is thrown well, but Morgan doesn't do anything to get himself open any further. Ball hits him right in his hands, and he doesn't hold on.
Ray Horton is back deep.
Morgan, usually a sure-handed receiver, the second in the team with 63 receptions coming into the game.
So here's Camarillo again, this time a line drive. And Horton with the short return at the 40-yard line. Mosi Tatupu back in action on the coverage. 39-yard punt and a 4-yard return. Be sure to stay tuned right here on NBC for the second half of today's doubleheader. Most of you will see the New York Jets and the San Francisco 49ers. That's right here on NBC. So Joe Montana and the 49ers against Ken O'Brien and the Jets. The Jet offense has gone south the last couple of weeks. First down for Esiason from the 40. Incomplete, intended for Brooks, and a flag throw. Ronnie Lepet covering James Brooks. And the rugged play in this first half continues.
Bob McElwee getting the 2 officials that are involved aside. There was obviously some contact made. It was whether or not the ball is catchable, whether it was offense or defense.
Uncatchable ball. No foul. Uncatchable ball.
Couldn't hear what the call was. The call is it's an uncatchable pass. Let's take a look. Well, I didn't see any flag. Why a flag should have been thrown to begin with. The ball was past him by the time the contact was made. And I think the bottom result, the end result, is good. There's no flag on the play.
So the conference dealt with whether it was a catchable ball, and the conclusion was it was not. So no penalty. And a 2nd and 10 from the 40. And Esiason gets it away. Eric Caddis, a backup tight end, stopped by Don Blackman. Esiason taking the hit. And Esiason with a beautiful side step. The Patriots thought they had him.
The intensity of the football game is heating up, as you saw in the face there. Veras says, I thought I had that sack easy, and the nimbleness of Esiason avoids a 5 or 6 yard loss. The Patriots going to more blitzing, more pressure on Esiason. The last 2 times he's thrown, he hasn't had time to look around.
It's a 3rd and 9. That's Kreider in motion. Intended for Kreider.
Well, you saw what the Bengals called. Sam White said, well, if we're getting too much pressure, we're going to move the pocket. That time he had Esiason roll to his right, and he just overthrew him. And, of course, the best defense against the quarterback is put that pressure on him, let him know somebody's coming after him. He had time to throw now. He just doesn't throw it very well.
Second punt of the day for Jeff Hayes, who drops back to his 26-yard line. First punt only a 31-yarder, and he'll punt to Irving Fryer. And this is a good one. Fryer backs up.
He's got some room.
Fryer flashing his speed, and it puts the Patriots in excellent field position. A 45-yard punt and a 54-yard return.
One of the big differences in these two teams are their special teams. Their kickers for New England are much better, and this time, punting with the wind, Hayes gets a good punt. He outkicks his coverage, and Fryer gets up the sideline. White said, one of the things I want to do this year is get more speed on my special teams. Fryer with an excellent return.
Irving Fryer making his return to action here in a big way. First down at the 32-yard line. This is the rookie DuPont. Robert Jackson ran him out, but a first down. Reggie Dupont picking up 11.
This might be exactly, Marv, as we take a look at the scores, what the Patriots running game needs, and that is some youth and some enthusiasm. Dupart coming in, he doesn't know any better. Just give me the ball. I'll take 3 yards, 4 yards, sure. Fine, this might be exactly what they need. 28th in the league coming in rush are the Patriots.
First down at the Cincinnati 21. The Bengals lead it 7-0. And here is Dupont on a slant. Picked up a yard. Emmanuel King on the tackle. Right here, we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
Channel 5, WLWT, Cincinnati.
Marv Albert with Bob Greasy from Sullivan Stadium in Foxborough. Cincinnati in front by the score of 7-0. A 54-yard punt return a moment ago by Irving Fryer, leading to the Patriots in this situation, a 2nd and 9 from the 20. Incomplete, throwing it behind Collins. So Tony Collins, who hobbled off several moments ago, is apparently all right. Ray Horton on the coverage of Collins.
And he means so much as we take a look to the right of the screen, 33. It's an option. He has the right to break either way, and this time he doesn't take it downfield far enough, or at least Easton thought he was going to go downfield a little bit more before he broke out. Horton on the coverage, but Collins means a big deal to this offense. Leads the team in receptions and 344 yards running the football.
3rd and 9, and Easton is 0 for his last 4, and fumbles the snap. Able to cover up.
Steve Grogan on the sideline readjusting his plays as we take a look. Snap was right there, and that's one of the problems with a shotgun. The quarterback wants to look downfield. To catch the football, you have to take your eyes off of the defense and catch the football and then look back up. That time, he didn't catch the football first.
So Tony Franklin with a 44-yard attempt. He's hit 12 straight, 14 of the last 15. But this one, no good. Franklin missing a 44-yard attempt, has breached it earlier. Franklin kicking into the wind.
And it's a strong wind, Marv. At the beginning of the ball game and in pregame warmups, there was not a wind at all, but the wind has really come up.
So the score remains Cincinnati 7 and New England nothing.
Let's remind you to pick up the official Patriots yearbook in the stadium today and receive a free Patriots pennant.
Cincinnati taking over first down from their 27. 7:15 left in this first half. Brooks. Good second effort by James Brooks. Lawrence McGrew, outside linebacker, on the stop.
There's Franklin. He hasn't missed many this year. He's the leading scorer in the National Football League and has kicked more field goals than anybody in the league. And you're entitled to miss one now and then. Cincinnati defense huddling around Dick LeBeau, the defensive coordinator.
2nd and 3 from the 34. Wilson picks up the first down. Stanley Wilson in his 3rd season out of Oklahoma. Sat out last year, suspended for drug abuse by the National Football League. And had a good one last week. 77 yards, 8 carries against the Broncos.
Had surgery on his knee earlier in the season, Marv, and Sam Weich was saying he had a little problem coming off the drugs even from that small operation. He says, but he comes in every week and says, I want the urinalysis test weekly. He says, I want to prove that I've beat this thing.
All right, first down from the 42. Esiason able to step up. Complete through the hands of the tight end, Rodney Holman. Esiason took a shot.
42.
They're not as wide open as they normally have been, are the Bengals, because coming in, they were concerned about the turnovers that the Patriots defense has been getting, and they have done a good job today at not turning the football over and giving that Patriot offense an opportunity for a short field where they could go in and score.
Boomer is 9 for 14, 138 yards. Has a 2nd and 10 at the 42. Wilson found a hole on the left side, getting to the 48. Don Blackman, the outside linebacker, on the stop.
The problem that the Bengals present a defense, and the Bengals certainly have the players, is that they can run the football as well as they can throw it. As we look at another linebacker injury, it's Ed Reynolds, for the Patriots. The Patriots have been hit at the linebacker position. Steve Nelson going down a few weeks ago, and Andre Tippett.
This club has been destroyed by injury, yet they've hung in. They've won their last 7. A record of 10-3. Ed Reynolds, an important man on the special teams in his 4th season out of Virginia. As a result, people like Mel Black and Steve Doig have been signed. Check this out. Back in week number 1, opening day for the Patriots, a look at the starters. And now Bob, by virtue of
cross off James, Collins has been hurt. Starring is no longer the starter. Hawthorne has been injured. He's not starting. And then also Moore. Those are the 4 players on offense. Defense is the same problem. As we look at the defense, Tippett, Thomas is no longer with the Patriots. Tippett has been hurt. Nelson is out for the year. And then James missed 1 game, but those 3 were out. And last week they had a problem with, as mentioned, Nelson and Tippett, 2 other linebackers that have been out and not playing. Clayton Wysoon, Ed Williams is a linebacker, and Brian Ingram. So they've had the problems with injuries all at the same position.
And defensive end Kenneth Sims has been out of action with a back problem.
And what this has forced him to do is go from a 3-4 defense to a 4-3. And Raymond Berry says, I leave all that defensive stuff to Rod Rust, the defensive coordinator, who, and there's Rod, who Steve Nelson says is a genius, and certainly, as Rod admits, he says, I have good personnel, and I like to move them around. He's done a fantastic job with them.
Down and 4 from the 48. Bengals 7, Patriots nothing. Esiason getting the time. And that was deflected. It was intended for Tim McGee. Johnny Rembert on the coverage. So the Cincinnati drive has been stopped.
Esiason knew that there would be tight coverage in the secondary if he just had time to wait till they got open. Good coverage in the secondary allows the rush to get there. As Irving Fryer is back, hoping that he can maybe get another long return to set up the offense.
5 moments ago, he returned a Jeff Hayes punt, 54 yards, but the Patriots not able to capitalize. Tony Franklin's 44-yard field goal attempt was off the mark. Now he pops it high. Fryer on the fair catch inside the 20, a 33-yard punt by Hayes, but this time no return. Patriots will take over. The Giants on a Phil Simms touchdown pass to Bavaro, a 9-yard strike. Jumping in front, but Washington has tied it at 7.
Even as we look at the 10-minute ticker, it changes on us. Chicago.
21-0 Chicago, and Miami maintaining the lead on New Orleans. .5:11 remaining in this first half. First down from the 20-yard line. Intended for Collins. Joe Kelly, the inside linebacker, on the coverage of Tony Collins.
Well, that was a well-designed play, Marv. They got their leading receiver, Collins, on the rookie, Joe Kelly, and it was good coverage. Play action, didn't fool Kelly. Kelly says, I've seen this before. He's breaking to the outside, and that's as good a coverage as you can have. The ball is just thrown poorly in behind him.
Joe Kelly sat out most of the second half last week in Denver with a bruised shoulder. His dad, Joe Sr., played for the LA Rams and for Montreal in the Canadian Football League. 2nd and 10 from the 20. Eason is only 4 of 11. Here's DuPont. Picked up 3 of 4 on the play. Reggie Williams on the stop. The word on Ed Reynolds, Patriot linebacker, is that he should return. Just had the wind knocked out of him on that last series.
Dupart picking up 4 to the 24. It'll be 3rd down.
And Paul Fairchild, who sat out last week with a groin pull, had a foot injury. And Trevor Matich is in there at left guard. This is the second series that Matich has played, so Fairchild is sidelined once again. It's a 3rd down and 6 out of the 24. And Eason going deep sideline. So he is 0 for his last 6. Stanley Morgan, the intended receiver, covered by Lewis Breeden.
What's happening, Marv, is they got tight man-to-man coverage in the secondary, and the Bengals are getting a good rush on Eason. Eason doesn't want to hold the ball too long. As you look at Grogan, Grogan is calling the plays for Tony Eason, and he sees what's going on. He called the pass earlier to get Collins on the rookie Kelly. So they're trying to get at the weaknesses, but they got good defense, and I'm sure those two will talk it over with and try to come back something later on and see what they can do.
Rich Camarillo punting for the 5th time this afternoon from the 9-yard line, and Horton is back. Horton calling fair catch. And Cincinnati to the offense. With 4 minutes and 10 seconds to go in this first half, a 37-yard punt by Camarillo.
Surprising, the score is only 7-0. We mentioned earlier 2 of the top scoring teams in the National Football League, and only 7 points have been put up on the board.
Although Esiason said, hey, this is not going to be a 35-30 or 40-35 game, he said, not against the New England Patriots. First down from the 39, Brooks. Stopped by Rembert.
James Brooks.
The only score of the day run in by Larry Kinnebrew to cap a 9-play drive right at the start of the second quarter. Cincinnati had another threat, but fumbled it away.
2nd down and 11.
Down at the 1-yard line, but then able to come roaring back. 2nd and 11 as Brooks lost a yard. 3.5 to go in this first half. And it is broken up. Intended for the tight end Holman, and Ed Reynolds, who had the wind knocked out of him just a few minutes back in there and able to make a good play.
Good play by Reynolds. The New England linebackers, 52 is Rembert, filling in for Nelson and doing an outstanding job. Nelson, the leader, the inspirational leader, but Rembert has come on and played very well. Now the quarterback is scrambling this way. The linebackers see it. They keep their position and do a nice job. Rembert had him if he crossed the line of scrimmage, and Reynolds was covering the receiver.
So a 3rd down and 11 from the 38. And Esiason able to complete for the first down to Tim McGee. McGee with 2 excellent catches. This one for 20 yards, but a flag thrown.
Eugene Prophet making the tackle.
And a penalty on Garen Varus. I think it was roughing the quarterback. Will be added on to the play, but two interesting things there, Marv. Number one, he sized in on third down up under center, not in the shotgun position.
Personal foul, roughing a passer, number 60, defense going to the head. And forced from the end of the
sounds
play,
like he's on tape delay, isn't he?
Yeah, we don't hear him too well, but take a look, the middle of your screen, right up the middle of the pocket, number 60 in the white. The ball's gone, up. They called him for hitting him up near the head in the helmet area. And the other thing that's impressive to me is that Esiason throws this ball with only his arm as McGee breaks to the inside. Now that's Eugene Prophet, number 22. Prophet is the smallest man on the roster for the Patriots. He's 5'10", 165, and Rod Russ says, we're going to find somebody small for him to cover, and McGee is small at 5'10".
So the first down, and Brooks stopped by Reynolds. In all, that last play covered 35 yards with the penalty tacked on. And Brooks collected 5 more. You see the clock running down, approaching 2.5 minutes to go in this first half.
Did you see the way Esiason just flipped that ball? He didn't even step forward. He just threw it with his arm, and he had to throw it about 25 yards and threw it to the inside for McGee.
2nd and 5 at the New England 22. Brooks up the middle.
Brooks once again.
Blackman on the stop. And it is close to the first down.
Reynolds. Stop.
James Brooks in his 6th year out of Auburn. He spent 3 years with the San Diego Chargers. This is his 3rd year with Cincinnati. And they're calling for the yardsticks. Short. It'll be a
Harold Jackson, the wide receiver coach for the Patriots, looking on, has done an outstanding job with Stanley Morgan, Irving Fryer, and the young receivers that the Patriots have.
It's a nice twosome.
Got a lot of footballs in this league. Raymond Berry and Harold Jackson.
It'll be a 3rd down and inches as we close in on the 2-minute warning. Cincinnati leading New England 7-0. We'll be right back. The New England Patriots, the AFC champions a year ago, but Bob this season would prefer to do it without doing it via the wild card route.
Well, I don't think they can do it 2 years in a row, get to the Super Bowl if they're on the road each game. They did it last year, but I don't think they can do it this year.
A win today would clinch a wild card spot.
Ball was carried by
Larry Kinnebrew picking up the first down, so he has done the job in the couple of occasions that he has been used in a cameo role here today. Scored the touchdown from a yard away, and now picks up the first down. First down at the 16-yard line. Cincinnati Bengals come in at 8-5, second in the AFC Central behind 9-4 Cleveland, and they feel they have to win their final 3, and they face the Browns next week. Esiason in trouble. Able to get it away beautifully for Stanley Wilson. Blackman on the tackle, but once again we see the mobility of Boomer Esiason, who appeared to be hit for a big loss and then was able to get something out of it.
That's exactly right, Marv. The Bengals, one of the least sacked teams in the league, and mainly because of the elusiveness of Boomer.
Well, the Giants now lead Washington 14-7. We'll check out the rest of the scoreboard. A timeout has been called. We'll be back in a moment. All right, back to our 10-minute ticker. Phil Simms has thrown his 2nd touchdown of the day. Cleveland leads Buffalo. KC over Denver. And Doug Flutie ran one in for his first NFL touchdown.
I was wondering when the Bears would get around to Flutie. You know, he's a winner. He has won in the college level. Let's see what he can do at the pro level.
Second down and 6 from the 12-yard line. 54 seconds to go in the half. And here's Wilson. And he has the first down. Fred Barry on the free safety on the stop. The clock running, as you can see.
First down for the Bengals. At the Patriots 5, it'll be first and goal to go.
Cincinnati Bengals, 289 total yards to the Patriots 83.
The Patriots were concerned about the ability of the Bengals to control the ball. They certainly have done that today.
And now a timeout is called, so the clock stopped with 28 seconds remaining and a first and goal from the 5, and the Bengals talk it over.
You know, I don't know if this does any good as far as the coach talking to the offensive lineman, because he's talking to the quarterback. He may talk to a running back or something, or a wide receiver. But I think what it does is confuse the defense. You don't know who's going to come out of that huddle and go on. They may come out with 4 wide receivers, and the defense will not be able to react quickly enough.
So a 7-0 Cincinnati lead over New England on a 1-yard plunge by Larry Kinnebrew to get the second quarter underway. Cincinnati has dominated statistically. Boomer Esiason has had a good day. Tony Eason has not to this point. In fact, he is 0 for his last 6, and Sam Weish, the Cincinnati Bengal head coach, would like to add to that score. First and goal from the 5. Marv Albert with Bob Greasy from Foxborough. And Stanley Wilson picks up a couple on the play. Brent Williams and several New England linebackers involved on the stop. Timeout called. 21 seconds remaining.
And that's his last timeout. The problem with running the football down here is you don't stop the clock. You have to use your timeouts. Now, if you go for it, you have to throw the ball, and it either has to be a touchdown or an incompletion.
It'll be second and goal from the 2.
The 10th play of the drive is coming up.
And here's Stanley Wilson, who Esiason said has really been playing well. Walter, number 63, drives his man to the outside. And again, good defense by the Patriots, forces the last time out, and you're going to have to... I would think you're going to see Esiason on the move, scrambling by design, and either throwing it into the end zone for a touchdown or for an incompletion. Second down and 2, so you have 1 down to play with, and then stop the clock if it's an incompletion and kick the field goal if you want.
Jim Breach missed from 44 yards away earlier.
It's interesting the way they come right from the sideline. Now that's different for the defense. They're normally used to seeing the offense break from the huddle and find their men. When you come from the sideline, you don't know what you got.
And they have the big guy Kinnebrew in there along with Wilson. Garrett Verse.
This is a mistake. They can't stop the clock.
Esiason trying to line them up quickly. The clock running.
6.
You see him running down, and now he stops the clock. Well, let's see if we get a call here of intentional grounding.
No, it's all right to do that as long as you're not throwing it to avoid a loss. You can take it and throw it right down in the ground.
But
that's the problem right there. You just can't fool around with it. Sam trying to be too cute. Ran 3 running plays in a row and could not stop the clock. He's looking to the officials who have already gone off the field. A big mistake.
And so the score remains 7-0 Cincinnati at halftime. And an opportunity is blown as Boomer Esiason tried to stop the clock, but time had run out.
For validation registration.
And check out number 7, Boomer Esiason.
He registers for the Super Bowl 21 trip.
I think he just found out that they don't have any time left. The official, McAwee, is running off the field. But that's a gamble any way you look at it, and a mistake. No matter if it was a quick clock or if it wasn't.
So that is the story at halftime. Cincinnati in front 7-0. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. In Foxborough, Cincinnati in front of New England by the score of 7-0, and the Bengals had an opportunity to put up 6 more on the board.
I think it's a case where Sam was just trying to be a little bit too cute with what he was doing. Certainly it was he had 17, 18, 20 seconds left when he ran the second down play into the line, and I'm sure he told his quarterback, get up there immediately and throw the ball into the ground. But you never know how quickly they're going to spot the ball, how quickly the players are going to get back, and I think he was just a little too cute. I think he threw away 3 points at least.
Do you think that last second flew by quickly? We were watching the clock on the board.
When I saw it, there was a second, then it disappeared.
All right, we're set to send you to our studios in New York. Bob Costas and NFL 86.
We welcome you fans from around the country. Let's update you on what's happening besides the games you've been watching today on NBC. The battle for the lead in the NFC East. The Giants with the halftime advantage 14-7 at RFK. Phil Simms, a pair of short touchdown passes, one to Mark Bavaro, the other to Bobby Johnson. Kelvin Bryant has a 4-yard scoring run for the Skins' only score. Cincinnati and New England, a 7-0 score there at halftime. Cincinnati in front, although Stanley Wilson was stopped on the last play before halftime down around the 1-yard line of the Patriots, so it could have been worse from New England's perspective. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from that game. Sam Weich's Bengals come in at 8-5, trying to hang in with Cleveland in the AFC Central. Here's James Brooks taking a pitch from Boomer Esiason and going 53 yards down to the 9-yard line in the first quarter. It looks like the Bengals will score, but a few plays later, Esiason has trouble with the snap. He'll fumble, and Patriot defensive back Raymond Claiborne recovers to thwart that Cincinnati drive. However, here comes Esiason on the next possession. He'll go up top to number 85, Tim McGee. The 51-yard catch and run brings the ball down to the 5-yard line. 3 plays later, Larry Kinnebrew scores from the 1, the only touchdown of the first half. It's a 7-0 lead. Cleveland is playing at Buffalo. This is the last home game of the year for the Bills. They averaged around 68,000 with Jim Kelly, up 23,000 fans a game over their average of a year ago. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. Pouring down rain today. Nothing but class, says the sign, much like these fans themselves. Watch Rob Riddick take the handoff, but the ball is knocked out of his hands by Gary Wilkins, his own backfield partner, and Mike Johnson recovers for Cleveland to stop that Buffalo drive. Kevin Mack has a pair of 1-yard scoring runs for the Browns. Here is one of them in the first quarter. He also scored in the second period. Cleveland leads it over Buffalo 14-3. They've got a 1-game lead in the AFC Central over the Bengals. Denver and Kansas City, the John Elway pass to Sammy Winder just before the half ties that one up at 10 apiece, despite the fact that Elway has struggled. Here we see Dan Reeves with his team's next victory or the Raiders' next loss. They clinch in the AFC West. But Elway had 2 interceptions during the first half, one by the great defensive back Deron Cherry in the end zone. They come up empty on that occasion. Now here's Todd Blackledge at quarterback in place of the injured Bill Kenny. This pass to Stephon Page, after being set up by a Sherman Cockcroft interception, gave them a 10-3 lead. And just before the half, Denver evens it on the 2-yard pass from Elway to Sammy Winder. There you see it. Less than 20 seconds remaining, and Winder skips across to tie it up at 10 apiece. Let's turn to Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad, your thoughts on some of the difficulties Elway had in that first half?
You know, Bobby, you mentioned that Elway does struggle, but he's one of these quarterbacks that struggles for small amounts of time. He's a guy that can throw an interception in 1 minute and come right back and have the big play to get his team back in it. Coach Dan Reeves told these Denver Broncos that this was a very critical game here because they've had the stigma on them of not really doing well at the end of the season. They need to get a roll into the playoffs. They need to win this week, and then they have Washington and Seattle before they get to those playoffs. So they realize they're under pressure.
Chicago Bears don't need to win, but they're certainly heartened by what's happening with Doug Flutie today. Mike Tomczak started this game, actually scored a touchdown in the first quarter on an 8-yard run off a quarterback draw. But then he left, and Flutie has come in to engineer 3 touchdown drives. One of them ended with his own 4-yard scoring run in the second quarter. He threw in completions on his first 4 attempts, but his first NFL completion on his 5th attempt today was a 52 52-yard hookup to Willie Gault. And then later in the same drive, he threw a touchdown pass of 23 yards to Walter Payton. And the Bears are pummeling Tampa Bay at Soldier Field. It's halftime there, 28-0. Elsewhere, Miami, 3 touchdown passes by Dan Marino, 36 for the year now, 31-10 lead at halftime at the Superdome. Minnesota and Green Bay, 13-6. They're late in the second quarter at Green Bay. Detroit and Pittsburgh tied up at 10 apiece. Rookie from LSU, Gary James, has a 60-yard scoring run in that game for the Lions. The Cardinals and the Eagles in Philadelphia, an exchange of field goals between Paul McFadden and Eric Schubert. Randall Cunningham sacked 7 times in the first half by the Cardinals. The Eagles extend their dubious league record. Their quarterbacks have been sacked 90 times already this season. It is the debut of Ron Meyer as the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are down in Atlanta late in the second quarter. The Falcons lead it there 17-7. Former Bengal Turk Schonert has thrown 2 touchdown passes for Atlanta in that game. We'll continue with NFL 86 halftime activities following these messages from your local stations.
Back in Foxborough, Marv Albert with Bob Greasy. At halftime, the Bengals lead the Patriots by the score of 7-0. And Bob, against one of the weaker defenses in the NFL, the Patriots have been stifled in the first half.
Well, they haven't run, and then we came in saying they haven't run. But the thing about it is they've pressured Eason, and he has not gotten anything done. Eason has had a great year, #2 in the league, but not today. So the Bengals surprisingly playing very well defensively.
Boomer Esiason warming up for the second half, 11 for 19. In the first half, 162 yards.
4 first downs for the Pats in the first half. Only 23 yards passing, and they've lived with the pass. The last only 83 yards total yardage. That's it's really unbelievable that the Patriots can get that little offensive going. But that's another half to play, and we've seen them before where they've come back and just blown people out.
So the Patriots, a team with only 2 rushing yards last week, have a net 23 yards passing today. Someone figured up last week that New England averaged 3.6 inches per rush.
It wouldn't be Ross Schneiderman, our crack statistician, would it?
The cynical Ross Schneiderman. Jim Breach teeing it up, getting set to kick it off.
The Bengals do a little something differently here. They put all their coverage people to one side of the field, and they normally kick it to the corner.
This time a short hop picked up by one of the up men. Barney Bussey on the stop of Johnny Rembert. So Breach putting it on the ground. And let's see what the Patriots can do here. They are 10-3 coming in, tied with the Jets for first in the AFC East. The Jets playing San Francisco later today. You'll see it right here on NBC. A New England win today would clinch at least a wild card playoff berth, but they want more than that. First down from the 38. And Eason goes sideline and completes. Stanley Morgan on the reception. Lewis Breeden the coverage, a 12-yard pickup. So Eason, after going 0 for his last 6, able to hit.
Well, the first thing you look for when a team comes out in the second half when they haven't scored any points, let's see what they're going to do differently. New England just drops back, shows pass, and completes the pass. So you got to think they're going to come out and throw the football and not worry too much about the run.
Fryer is to the right. Dupart and Tatupu on the running backs. The rookie Dupart stopped at the line. Carl Zander, the inside linebacker, on the stop, setting the Patriots offensive line. At the tackles, Darrell Haley and Brian Holloway. At the guards, Trevor Maddich and Ron Wooten. Maddich coming on for Paul Fairchild, who was injured earlier, and Pete Brock, the center. Fairchild sat out last week with a groin pull, and Maddich drew the start. And that is at John Hanna's old spot at left guard. 2nd and 10. And Eason going deep. Fryer not able to hang on the over-the-shoulder attempt. The coverage from Lewis Phillips.
coverage on the play. Lewis Billups.
Well, this is the second long pass that Eason has thrown that has been on the money. Morgan dropped the first one. Billups, the rookie. Now you see their way, Fryer was kind of to the inside and is just kind of pushed out to the outside. It was not interference, but it gave Eason something to throw to, something to the outside, and that's the way a good receiver will do it.
Sets a 3rd and 10.
You just have to catch the football.
And now Eason tries the other side. Incomplete. Intended for Morgan.
Well, Eason's being booed, and he's heard him before, and as soon as he turns it around and Stewart takes him in for a touchdown, those boos are turned to cheers. But unfortunately for the Patriots, the entire offense this year seems to have been on his shoulders, no running and all passing.
Eason has connected on 62%. There's Camarillo getting set to punt for the 6th time. Ray Horton is back. Horton back at his 10. And Camarillo angling. But it carries in. 50-yard punt. And they'll bring it out to the 20. Curtis Gibson trying to keep it away. A timeout called. We'll be back after these words. Been on the nippy side now at Sullivan Stadium in Foxborough. Marv Albert with Bob Greasy. Cincinnati in front of New England 7-0. We're early 3rd quarter. And the Bengals taking over at their 20-yard line. Wilson and Brooks, the running backs. James Brooks stopped by the combination of Lawrence McGrew and Johnny Rembert. Picked up 3, 2nd and 7. Giants still in front of Washington on 2 touchdown passes thrown by Phil Simms. They're in the 3rd quarter.
Buffalo giving Cleveland all they want. Big game in the Central Division.
Jim Kelly just connected on a 75-yarder with Chris Burkett. And Doug Flutie ran one in and threw for a touchdown.
We may be hearing more about Flutie in the next few weeks with the Bears.
2nd and 7. Esiason getting the time, has Brooks. And Brooks broke a couple tackles to pick up the 1st down.
Forced out of bounds by Raymond Claiborne.
14-yard pickup.
First down.
Pittsburgh and Detroit tied at 10. And Atlanta in front of Indianapolis. That is the debut of one-time Patriot head coach Ron Meyer as head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. First down at the 37. 2 minutes gone by in this 3rd quarter. Straight ahead move by Wilson. Rembert on the stop. Bengals have had a number of opportunities. They lead 7-0, but prior to Kinnebrew scoring the touchdown, they fumbled down at the 1 off that
opening drive.
Right, and you had the missed field goal by Breach from 44 yards away, and then time running out at the end of the 1st half.
Had a field goal or a possible touchdown, and 3 opportunities missed. You don't know what the score may have been. It's 7-0 at this point.
2nd and 9. Brooks and Wilson are the running backs. Brooks on the swing. And Brooks refuses to go down. Fred Marion, the free safety, made the stop. A 14-yard pickup for Brooks.
Let's watch Remington, number 50, blocking on 90, which is Williams. Remington right now, it's a screen, an option screen. He has an opportunity to throw it downfield or to the back. This time he throws it to the back, and Marion is trying to pull the ball out. Can't get it out, and Brooks holds on for a nice gain.
Remington the center, Montoya, Kozerski at the guards, Munoz and Walter.
Huge
tackles.
Huge offense.
Esiason off the play action, has it deflected. Lawrence McGrew got a piece of it. That is Brent Williams, who was trying to play that deflection. Pass intended for the tight end, Rodney Holman.
2nd and 10.
New England, excuse me, Mar, I was just going to say New England's defense doing a good job of trying to slow down this multifaceted offense of the Bengals, and they're doing it without their leaders. Steve Nelson, the captain of the defense, and Andre Tippett, both out of this game. We mentioned earlier some of the other problems they've had defensively, but when you lose your leadership, you lose more than just good players and good physical talents.
2nd and 10. And here's Brooks looking to turn, but not. Brent Williams, Lawrence McGrew right there. And Max Montoya trying to throw the block actually got in the way.
That'll bring up a 3rd down situation.
Montoya 65, and Williams just runs inside of him. Good pursuit by McGrew. Williams playing pretty well against the wide stuff, against the run inside. He is the defensive end, and they have been able to run inside of him on occasion.
Brooks shaken up. 3rd down 14. Chris Collinsworth has been very quiet today. Only 1 catch to this point. And Esiason able to complete. Stanford Jennings out of the backfield to make the catch. Raymond Claiborne on the tackle.
Credit Don Blackman with the stop.
Well, Stanford Jennings started and came out of the backfield. The coverage, here's Jennings right here. Now the coverage by the linebacker right here. Both these receivers are going to come down, and it's going to be a little bit of a traffic problem for the linebacker. He had to go around him, and that's why the receiver Jennings is so wide open, and that's why he picked up the 1st down. No, he's a little short. He's going to be a little short of the 1st down. Looks like they're going to punt the ball away.
Punting unit has come on. Jeff Hayes.
You don't know, though, Marv. In this situation on the field, if you're going to ever try a fake punt, this would be the area to do that.
And Hayes has attempted it a couple of times today. Let's see.
New England was ready.
And the Patriots will take over at their 20. A 40-yard punt by Hayes. Bengals 7, Patriots nothing.
Web, Tuesday.
Off that last defensive series, Garrett Veras apparently injured his right leg, and he's looking to walk it off. Patriots taking over. 1st down from the 20. Steve Grogan and Tom Ramsey coordinating the offense from the sideline. There's been very little offense for the New England Patriots, trailing Cincinnati 7-0. And Eason is sacked. Eason taken down by Reggie Williams. 1st sack for Williams today. 2nd for the Bengals. We're set for an update. Let's go to Ahmad Rashad on NFL 86.
All right, Marv, in Buffalo, just 21 seconds into the 2nd half, Jim Kelly hits Chris Burkett, the 2nd-year man from Jackson State, on this 75-yard touchdown. Now, the Browns, who lead the Bengals in the Central Division by 1 game, still lead Buffalo 14-10 in the 3rd.
Thanks, Ahmad. It'll be a 2nd and 17. A loss of 7 on the play. That's Fryer peeling off, number 80. And Eason able to complete. Fryer out to the 20-yard line, so he got back to the line of scrimmage. Picked up 7. Horton on the stop.
Irving Fryer in motion and try to confuse the defense, change the strength, maybe get open. Obviously, this time he's an outlet. Eason looked downfield and came off to Fryer. On the earlier sack, it was Reggie Dupard's responsibility to block Williams, the linebacker, and that's one of the problems with injuries.
Tony Eason only 6 for 16. He had a string of 0 for 6. It's a 3rd and 10. Going for the 1st down, but overthrows Stephen Starring. Horton on the coverage. So the New England Patriots, the highest scoring team in the NFL, coming into today with 347 points, have been blanked thus far by a Cincinnati Bengal team that is not noted for its defense.
That's very true, and they're putting pressure on Eason. And I think one of the things he needs to do is either move around, scramble a little bit, or do it by design. Steve Grogan maybe needs to call some plays where you're going to get him outside the pocket, give him more time to throw than the defense thinks he's going to have.
And Camarillo has been a very busy guy. 7th punt, back at his 5-yard line. And just did get it away. And a penalty flag. Ball takes a Patriot hop, ending up at midfield. And you can see the call against Cincinnati. Kiki D'Elia, backup linebacker, arguing the play. Kiki, a rookie out of Texas.
He may be arguing that the up man blocked him into the punter.
Personal foul running into the kicker. 93 defense. First down.
It is on D'Elia. And Sam Weiss, looking to get him off the field, does not want to have anything else tacked on.
Well, let's take another look at it and see if he is blocked.
At the 25-yard line, his first.
I don't know. That's pretty close. Mosey Tatupu was up there blocking. The rule is if you're blocked into the punter, it's not a foul.
So the Patriots with a break. First down for the 25, and it is intercepted by Lewis Breeden. So Lewis Breeden getting it right back. Pass intended for Irving Fryer, and Tony Eason is hearing it from this crowd.
Number 60.
Breeden leads the team in interceptions. That's his fifth. As one turned back for a touchdown. Let's take a look and see exactly what happened. Obviously, Fryer was supposed to be out a little bit wider. Eason throws the ball to the outside, expecting Fryer to be outside, and the people here in Foxborough are hollering for Steve Grogan.
That is only the 7th time this season that Eason has been intercepted. First down from the 21-yard line. Here's Brooks.
Good play by Ronnie Lepet to come up and stop the momentum, and McGrew finishes him off.
Fryer talking it over.
Telling him he was, a lot of these patterns and routes, Marv, are sight adjustments. If there's somebody to the inside, you do not continue your route. You stop and slide outside. Obviously, there was a misread on the part of either Eason or Fryer, and they certainly weren't on the same page. And this is the exact thing they need to do, is get together on it.
2nd and 9 at the New England 20. Cincinnati 7. New England nothing. 7 minutes gone by, third quarter. Brooks in motion. And Esiason incomplete. Intended for the rookie, Tim McGee. McGee made the big reception in the first half that eventually led to the only score of the day. McGee, first-round pick out of Tennessee, a 51-yard pass play in the first half that led to Kinnebrew taking it over from 1 yard away. 3rd down and 9 coming up. Boomer Esiason in his 3rd season out of Maryland. Very confident, very enthusiastic quarterback.
Not out of the same mode as most quarterbacks in the league. They say he's a rock and roll freak and a free spirit.
Here's Brooks. Nice moves by James Brooks. And he has a first down. Brett Marion made the stop. It has been a magnificent day for Brooks.
It certainly has, and Sam Weiss calls all the plays. A little bit of a conservative call down here, but if it works, it's well designed as Walter 63 leads him through. I'm sure that Sam feels very good about the position that he's in right now. Just wants to make sure he gets at least 3 points, as Brooks with an outstanding day.
And this is 4th 100-yard rushing game of the season. It is a 1st and goal from the 10. There's Wilson. Out of the 6. Rempert and Brent Williams on the stop. So the combination of Stanley Wilson and James Brooks.
Well, I'm impressed with the toughness of these backs by the Bengals. They're getting hit at the line of scrimmage. Brooks the time before ran through the tackle, and Wilson that time got hit and are not going down on the first tackle.
2nd and goal from the 6. 6:45 left in this 3rd quarter as Collinsworth splits out to the left and Brown in the slot to the left. Wilson Trying to make the turn, but he's bumped out and lost the yard. Brent Williams right on the play.
They're having trouble running outside of Williams, and they need to run inside of him as they're going 3 wide receivers, hoping to spread out the New England defense and then running inside. Let's take a look. Right there, now see, Wilson was supposed to run inside. Wilson was blocking Williams out to the outside. There obviously was nothing in there, and Wilson, when you go against the block, you're on your own.
So a third down play coming up. It'll be a 3rd and goal from about 6.5 yards away.
Sam Weiss told me during the week he's concerned about the turnovers of the defense of the Patriots. I'd be surprised if he tried anything too risky right here.
Brooks peels off. Syison with the time, incomplete. Lawrence McGrew on the play.
Rod Rust has got to be pleased with his defense after the turnover. Forcing the other team to go for a field goal is not all you can do, and when you turn the ball over inside your 30.
So Jim Breach checks in. He missed from 44 yards away earlier on the season. 14 for 29. Last week against Denver, missed from 39. This a 24-yard attempt. Kreider will hold. And this one is good. So from 24 yards away, Breach has given the Bengals a 10-0 lead.
Score now, the Cincinnati Bengals 10.
60,633 on hand at Foxborough, so a capacity crowd, less than 1,000 no-shows, as Jim Breach, who a moment ago hit from 24 yards away, gets set to kick off. The Bengals now lead the Patriots by the score of 10-0. And again, he keeps it low. Stephen Starring broke a tackle. Run out by Ron Simpkins. This telecast is being presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the New England Patriots and the National Football League is prohibited.
Pittsburgh 10, third quarter. Atlanta 17, Indianapolis.
It'll be a first down for the Patriots from the 38-yard line. New England, the only NFL team to score at least 20 points in every game over the first 13 this season. Blanked to this point, down by the score of 10-0. Fryer in motion. And this is the rookie, Reggie Dupart. Jim Scow on the stop as we swing around the 10-minute ticker. Giants extend to a 17-7 lead over the Washington Redskins at RFK. Cleveland still in front of Buffalo.
Kansas City up on Denver.
Chicago now being quarterbacked by Doug Flutie in front of Tampa Bay. 5.5 to go in this third quarter. 2nd down and 9 from the 39. Completes to Morgan for the first down. Barney Bussey on the tackle, the rookie from South Carolina State, combining with Ray Horton. A 17-yard advance.
At the 43-yard line.
Let's go back and take a look as the halfback is going to go in motion, and that'll pull this linebacker out with him. Morgan's going to slant to the inside and catch the ball right in the vacated area. Man in motion, pulls the defensive back out inside. Nice catch by Morgan.
Third catch of the day for Morgan. Collins and Tutupu are the running backs for this first down play. And it's Collins pulling away and fumbles it. And it's picked up by the Bengals. Robert Jackson, the free safety, takes it all the way. Robert Jackson goes 62 yards to extend to a 16-0 lead.
Number 37, Robert Jackson.
Robert Jackson in his 6th season out of Central Michigan.
And you have all the Patriots pointing back to the spot. I'm sure they're hoping that he was down. If there's a replay, the replay official may decide that maybe his knee was down before the ball came out, and there is an official still back there holding the spot. As we take a look, if his knee is down before he fumbles, I don't know. It looks like his knee was down before the ball came out. The line crew is still back there holding the spot, as you see McElwee and Al Conway, the umpire, talking.
Replay official is Joe Gardy.
Let's take another look if we have another angle. To the right of your screen, if his knee is down before the ball comes out, and it is, that is not a fumble. The ball comes out when his hand goes out, they'll bring this one back.
And if they do bring it back, you can imagine what the reaction will be of head coach Sam Wyche, who has not been thrilled with calls.
Sam Wyche will not like this, but it's the right call. Of course, Tony Collins is hoping. Bob McElwee's going to come over and make sure this one is right. Sam Wyche has really been, I talked to Sam earlier in the week, and not only does Sam feel like he's had some problems with his team, but he feels as though maybe Cleveland has gotten some calls going their way. Let's take another look as McElwee talks to upstairs. Far right of the screen. He has the ball. The ball doesn't come out until he hits the ground. There's his knee down. Now the ball comes out, even though it was blocked by Fultz.
After further review by the replay official, there is no fumble. The ball goes back to
the 49 The applause was led by Tony Collins, and Wyche has handled it low-key style to this point.
Well, he may be boiling inside, but it was the right call. The ground cannot cause a fumble.
That is the word from the replay official, Joe Gardy, and it's also very difficult for the coach on the sideline to see that play. He's screened out. So,
just like to tell everybody that the replay officials are not influenced by our comments, but that was the right call.
So it turns out to be a 3-yard advance instead of the touchdown on the fumble recovery by Robert Jackson, which is erased, and it's a 2nd and 7. A critical replay call with a 10-0 ball game here. And the Patriots right back to Stanley Morgan, who beats Lewis Phillips, the right corner, and the ball is placed just outside the goal line. A 39-yard pass play.
Quickly things turn around. A second ago, the Bengals had a touchdown, and now a play-action fake. Blitz is on. There's no free safety to help Billups. Billups thinks he's going to the outside. Morgan gets around him to the inside and makes a big turnaround. That's a 14-point swing if the Patriots get in the end zone.
1st and goal from the 1. Collins is in. With his 6th touchdown of the season. And what a roller coaster he's been on the last 30 seconds.
The last 3 plays, he went from goat to hero, but it was the right call. Bobby Greer, the offensive backfield coach, pats him on the back and say, way to hang in there. It's Craig James with the cap on.
Here's Tony Franklin attempting the extra point. So with 3:28 remaining third quarter, the Bengal lead is cut to 10-7, a 5-play drive for 62 yards. The big play, the pass to Morgan, which sets a single season receiving record for Morgan, his 67th catch of the year. And this is not Pasadena type weather at 35 degrees in Foxborough. The kickoff by Franklin. New England back in it, now trailing 10-7. Tim McGee. Beautiful hurdle move by McGee. A nice return. Steve Doig on the stop. And here is the big play just moments ago.
Let's go why it was open. Here's Jackson right here. Now, normally he's in the center of the field, but they're having a blitz on over here, and he has to come up and help cover the tight end. And Morgan is going to get deep down the middle as they pull a blitz to try and stop the run. A play action. Jackson comes up to cover the tight end, and that's why Morgan was open down the middle of the field. No deep safety, no help for Billups.
And the catch broke the New England club record for most receptions in a season that was held by Derek Ramsey. Rodney Holman, the intended receiver. Marv Albert with Bob Gracie from Sullivan Stadium in Foxborough. Cincinnati leading New England by the score of 10-7. Just moments ago, a critical turnaround by the replay official on a apparent fumble by Tony Collins. Coughed it up. Robert Jackson, free safety of Cincinnati, picked it up, ran it in for a touchdown. Would have been 17-0, but the ruling was the ground does not caused the fumble, and so it was brought back, and the Patriots able to take advantage. As you see, Brooks on the reception. James Brooks running it out, followed by Fred Marion. And off that replay call, the Patriots with the pass to Stanley Morgan setting it down at the 1, and then it was Collins who ran it in to get New England on the board. Giants now lead Washington 24-7. And Cleveland maintaining the lead over Buffalo in the third quarter. Cleveland going in a game in front of the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bears pouring it on Tampa Bay. Miami having an easy time against New Orleans. Detroit and Pittsburgh now tied at 17. And Atlanta clinging to that 6-point lead on Indianapolis. 30-yard pass play to James Brooks, who has done it as a receiver and as a runner. First down at the New England 36. It's Wilson off the big hole. Fumble. Cincinnati recovering.
Bob McElwee says it's still the Bengal ball, and I think it's getting a little colder, Marv, on the field. The sun is in, the wind has picked up a little bit, and I think the conditions are toughening up just a little bit for the players. Wilson with a good handle on it. Fred Marion knocks the ball out before he hits the ground. Marion, the leading tackler, and calls those fumbles. Bengals with the recovery as we look at championship flag from last year, and the wind that's blowing from our right to left.
Here is Brooks. This time he's stopped by the Patriots. Ed Reynolds, the inside linebacker, on the tackle of James Brooks. Cincinnati Bengals at 8-5. They lost in Denver last week after their comeback fell short. Bengals had won their previous two against Seattle and Minnesota. This is also a Cincinnati team that lost to Pittsburgh back in October by the score of 30-9.
They've not been the most consistent football team, although their offense has been pretty consistent. But defensively and special team-wise, and we mentioned earlier, their kickers, but they're playing well today.
2nd and 9 at the New England 23. Esiason stepping up, throwing end zone, intended for Eddie Brown. James and Marion on the coverage.
James, along with Fred Marion, provided the defensive coverage in the
Take a look at Brent Williams, number 96, the rookie this year, 7th-round draft choice. As Esiason has plenty of time to throw the ball, but the rookie just keeps coming and almost gets there in time. Williams filling in for Julius Adams, who retired the end of last year, doing a good job. I think he'd be doing a little bit better if he had Andre Tippett, the All-Pro, playing next to him.
It would help. 3rd down and 9. Esiason is 15 for 28, 232 yards. And again for the end zone for Brown. Touchdown! Eddie Brown working the right-hand side of the end zone beautifully. A 23-yard pass play.
And the mobility of Boomer Esiason. Sam White's calling the play to move the pocket. As you'll see, a move to our left. Montoya, 65, and Remington slide to their right, our left. He gets a little time, pulls up, and Marion, 31, doesn't know which way to go. A nice sidearm throw into the corner of the end zone.
Eddie Brown, #1 draft pick last season out of Miami. And who also recovered a fumble a moment ago, makes his 4th catch of the day. 4 catches, 88 yards, and a touchdown. Here is Jim Breach trying for the extra point. High snap, Kreider able to put it down. And the Cincinnati Bengals now lead the New England Patriots by the score of 17-7. We're set for an update. Let's go to Ahmad Rashad and NFL 86.
All right, Marv, in Buffalo, Bernie Kosar hits Brian Brennan on this 11-yard touchdown pass. And watch here, Brennan has a little bit of fun in the end zone. Cleveland leads at 21-10 in the 3rd quarter.
All right, Ahmad, so the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals keeping pace.
There's Eddie Brown. He caught a few touchdown passes from Bernie Kosar when he was at the University of Miami. So up in Buffalo, they're doing things. And also Eddie Brown catching a big touchdown for the Bengals. And you know, Marv, we have not seen the explosiveness of that Bengal offense until that last drive. And when the Patriots went down and scored, they came right back, showed a little bit of their toughness and character that Sam White has been trying to get this team to show. It's a young team, but they came right back after the adverse situation where they had a touchdown on the fumble recovery, was taken back. The Patriots went down and scored. They got the ball, went right on back, and now have their 10-point lead back.
Esiason throwing his 19th touchdown of the season, his first this afternoon. And Breach will kick off to the combination of the deep man Hawthorne and Starring. 1:24 remaining, 3rd quarter. And Breach obviously keeping it low, picked up by Starring. Off the change of direction, he stopped across the 17-yard line. And the strategy is for Breach to put it on the ground. Run Simpkins again on the stop.
And they also kick it to their left, and they overshift their coverage team to the left side as we look at the drive of the Bengals, only 6 plays. And then they kick it over to the left side in the corner, so it only gives the receiving team a half of a field to return the ball with.
And on that Cincinnati drive, James Brooks a major factor. Overall, he's run for 103 yards, and he's caught 5 passes. First down at the 17 for the Patriots. It's been a long day thus far for Tony Eason. Irving Fryer. Once again on the end around, Emmanuel King made the stop. And that's King. Looked like hurt his left arm.
Well, they tried that reverse earlier in the game, and it worked pretty well. Of wisdom in the Cincinnati bench. Offense, I'm sure there are a lot of congratulations being passed out, but they're saying also, let's go out and get another one when we have a chance.
Fryer picked up 9. It is a 2nd and 1. And the first down collected by Tony Collins. Reggie Williams on the stop. Collins playing despite the rib injury. Patriots having their difficulty in the running back department. A 17-7 New England lead. The first touchdown taken in right at the start of the second quarter by Kinnebrew. And Esiason a moment ago coming roaring back after a touchdown was taken away off the reversal by the replay.
Correctly so. Esiason changing the play at the line of scrimmage.
And with the time, incomplete intended for Stanley Morgan.
Good coverage on the play. Fulcher, number 33, has been a real pleasant surprise. He's a third-round draft choice out of Arizona State and is huge. 6'3", 230 pounds for a strong safety, but covers very well and is the second leading tackler on this ball club. Cincinnati with 3 rookie starters in that defense and 2 others, Zander and King, were rookies last year. So a lot of new faces on that Cincinnati defense.
9 of Cincinnati's top draft picks made the roster, which is an amazing accomplishment. 2nd and 10. And it's completed to the tight end Beatty.
Pass was complete.
Reggie Williams on the tackle short of the first down. Final seconds of the third quarter.
Reggie Williams defensively for the Bengals.
It'll be a 3rd and 3 when we resume in the fourth quarter. So at the end of 3, it's the Bengals 17, the Patriots 7. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. All right, this is the flak jacket, the protector that Tony Collins wears to protect his ribs. And I want to show you how this works. I have a baseball hat. Let's see. Let's see. Bob, you feel anything?
Wait a minute.
Let me try one more. Being prodded by the folks in the truck to hit harder and harder. This is terrible. Stanley Morgan for the first down and some more. 29-yard pickup.
Billups, the rookie, on the coverage. Morgan gets an inside release, and the receivers have crossed. That causes a problem for Billups to get over on the coverage once he was beaten at the line of scrimmage. A nice call. They've been doing it all day, but Billups has had better coverage than he did on that one.
5th catch of the day by Morgan. Bob, I think we should try that again. With the, I didn't get my real good shots.
I hope we have tape of that, so when my lawyer calls you.
I felt compassion. Bootbar. Get back behind the line. Reggie Williams and Joe Kelly combining. We're just underway. Fourth quarter.
Really, I was a little upset at the truck hollering, hit him harder, harder.
It's just higher, there was
harder and higher.
Just their way of showing how much they like you, Bob.
I don't know where you got that baseball bat. Well, Chicago may have a new leader. Doug Flutie.
Flutie has run for 1 and thrown for 1. The completion to the tight end Beatty. Robert Jackson, the free safety, on the stop. It is a 3rd down and 14. And look at the stats after 3. Yet this is a close ball game, but it's been all Cincinnati.
Total yards, 411 for Cincinnati for the 5th week in a row over 400. And for the Patriots, only 188. But it's a close game, 17-7, especially the way the Patriots have come back the last 3 weeks.
Correction, it's a 3rd down and 8 now from the 31. Eason couldn't find anyone. And sacked for the 3rd time. Eddie Edwards getting credit for his 6th of the year. Eddie Edwards, a 10-year man out of Miami, 1st round pick way back in 1977.
And a tough decision on the sideline for Raymond Berry. They're going into a stiff wind. And it looks as though they're going to punt the ball away.
Well, we have 12 minutes and 48 seconds remaining. See, Tony Franklin's longest field goal attempt this season has been 49 yards. He attempted it 3 times, hitting 1 of the 3. So they go for the punt. Camarillo from midfield. Ray Horton is back at his 10.
Ray Horton is deep.
So a beauty by Camarillo. 31-yard punt, but it stops at the 5. We'll be right back. Marv Albert with a bruised and battered Bob Greasy from Foxborough. Capacity crowd on hand. And the Bengals leading the Patriots 17-7 as they start out from their 5-yard line. James Brooks for a first down and some more, and as has been the case all afternoon, refuses to go down. Marion and James could not bring him down. It's a 29-yard pass play. That's his 6th catch to go along with 103 yards on the ground.
Gutsy play coming out of your own end zone, but a big play. You know, field position is so important, and that play certainly gets the Bengals out of a crucial area on the field.
Cincinnati looking at a first down from their 34-yard line. Wilson and Brooks, the running backs, out of the eye. It is Brooks, tripped up. James, the strong safety, got a piece of him. So Brooks over 100 yards on the ground and also as a receiver.
New England trying to do something different to mix up, going to a 4-3. Here's the lineman. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 3 linebackers right here. New England trying to go to something different to try and stop the offensive momentum of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Brooks picked up 4, second down and 6 from the 38. Stopped by the combination of Dennis Owens and Ed Reynolds. And a first down. First down for Cincinnati.
Didn't hear a whistle, but the play continued. You know, I talked earlier in the week to Rod Rust, the defensive coordinator for the Patriots, and he was not happy with his run defense, and I'm sure today he can't be too happy with this tackling because time and again the Bengal ball carriers have run through tackles, run around them, bounced off the tacklers, and you know, you can have the greatest personnel and defense in the world, but you still have to block and tackle.
And they marked the forward progress short of the first down. It's third, about a yard and a half. And look at this, Stanley Wilson. Wilson for 58 yards and the score. Big hole off the right side, and he took advantage.
Max Montoya with a big block to spring Wilson. Kinnebrew is in there doing a job, but Wilson, who has done great things the last couple of weeks. Sam White likes what he sees. Take a look right here. Here's Montoya, and here's Kinnebrew. Both of them are going to have big blocks to get Wilson through the hole. 65, a big block. Kinnebrew, a nice block. And now it's off to the races. And a big touchdown for the Bengals.
Stanley Wilson with a 7th touchdown of the season. And he has gone over the 100-yard mark. 109 yards for Wilson. The extra point by Breach. And the Bengals add to the lead. It's Cincinnati 24 and New England 7. Stanley Wilson still celebrating his touchdown, giving Cincinnati a 24-7 lead over New England. And here in Foxborough, crowd beginning to file out, although the Patriots, the last 4 weeks, have been an excellent come-from-behind team, but this is a real deep hole, down 24-7. And Starring will stay right there, so New England to the offense from the 20.
Let's go back and take another look At the good execution, Montoya 65 and Kinnebrew 28 gets a good key block, and then James and Marion both outrun as Stanley Wilson just gets downfield and gets into the end zone.
And Esiason has been doing it with the running back combination of Wilson and Brooks, and has succeeded by throwing to the running backs. As a result, we've rarely called the name Chris Collinsworth.
So he's done it with his backs, both running and passing.
Eason able to complete to Collins. Picked up a yard on the play. Lewis Billups on the coverage.
Forced out of bounds by Lewis Billups.
9:32 remaining in this fourth quarter.
Well, the gain of a yard. It'll be second down and 9. The ball at the 21.
The last 3 weeks come from behind victories. The Hail Mary pass from Eason to Fryer to beat the Rams. The touchdown caught by Beatty to beat Buffalo. And last week they did it late against New Orleans. And Collins on the reception has the first down. Barney Bussey, strong safety, making the stop. New England's last loss, October the 12th. Here in Foxborough, they lost to the Jets 31-24. At the time, the Patriots were 3-3. They have reeled off 7 consecutive wins coming into today. And Eason is hauled down. Reggie Williams with his second sack of the day and 4th for the Bengals.
Tony Eason giving hand signals to the wide receivers, telling him what routes he wants them to run. You have to avoid sacks in your hurry-up offense.
And it's a 2nd and 17. Eason able to complete to Cedric Jones.
Pass was complete.
Bussey and Billups
Cedric Jones
on the tackle.
Barney Bussey.
Jones with his first catch of the day. And they continue in the hurry-up. It's a 3rd down and 8. 8.5 left, fourth quarter. And Eason sacked again. That is number 5 for Cincinnati, and Eddie Edwards got him this time.
Now making the tackle for the Bengals.
Cincinnati coming into this game not known defensively for a big pass rush, and Eason, the indecision. Coverage is downfield. The thing you cannot do is take the sack. It's tough. Some quarterbacks are very good at getting ready with football. Dan Marino is a good example. The thing that a lot of quarterbacks like to do is hold the ball to the last minute because you want the completion. But in this situation, you just can't take the sack. You don't want a turnover by the same token, and he's been good at that too.
Here's Camarillo. I'm a short kick. And Cincinnati will take possession, a 24-yard punt. A timeout called. We'll be right back. Big problems, particularly offensively. Cincinnati taking over, first down at the 42-yard line. Esiason, who's had an outstanding day, through the hands of Collinsworth. Chris Collinsworth has caught only 1 pass, and that was earlier for a 9-yard gain, and that has been it.
Second down and 10 from the 42.
Well, the Bengals have done it with their backs, as we mentioned earlier, and an outstanding performance by the entire offensive team. As you see right here, total yardage against New England, over 500 yards. And this New England defense came into the game number 4 in the entire league in the least yardage allowed.
All right, second down play. Wilson.
Another broken tackle. 2 busted tackles right there.
Claiborne and Blackman combining on the stop. Coming into today, the concern by the Patriots was the lack of a running game, and now it turns out their defense is shredded by the Bengals.
And that's got to be a concern also, Marv, because to get into the playoffs and be anything good in the winter and down the stretch, first of all, you have to be able to run the ball and obviously stop the run. Rod Rust certainly knew that coming in, but I think it's just been more of a matter of poor tackling here today. Of course, the Bengals, as we've mentioned, have a lot of weapons to turn to.
Third down and 2. And Wilson Wilson picks up the first down. Reynolds on the stop. Just under 7 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter.
Bengals first down. At the 46
Giants maintaining the lead over Washington. Cleveland leading Buffalo. So the Browns and the Bengals will stay the same if all remains the same. Bengals will go to 9-5 with a victory here today. And the Browns to 10-4. Brooks and Kinnebrew now, the running backs. And it's Brooks following Kinnebrew. And a flag thrown. Penalty flag is down. Marion on the stop of Brooks. And it will come back. It's a hold against Cincinnati. All right, off the holding call, a check of the AFC Central. This is the story going into today. And Cincinnati with the feeling that they must win their final 3, including next week when Cleveland will play Cincinnati at Riverfront in Cincinnati. Cincinnati beat Cleveland earlier in the year, 30-13. That was back in September.
Cincinnati with both their last games at home, and of course, like you said, Cleveland comes there. The Browns have to go to Cincinnati and then have San Diego at home. So you might think that the scheduling anyway favors the Bengals.
It is set back to a 1st and 20 at the 44. 5:40 remaining. Brooks again finding the hole in a race with Lepet. And Lepet was not able to hang on. Brooks refusing to go down. What an effort.
And you could count the broken tackles. We've been talking about it up until this point, but 4 or 5, Rod Rust sees it all, and you can be sure that the Patriots will be talking about it on Monday when they meet. Sam White has to be very happy about this.
Sam Weish out to the 20-yard line to greet James Brooks, who just ripped one off for 56 yards. Now check this out on the subject of missed tackles.
Let's count the missed tackles as we see Kinnebrew 28 and that big offensive line making some big blocks. All right, he gets through there with the aid of the offensive line. Now, Lepet, 42, is going to be the first man. He shakes that one. That's one. We'll come back and count the rest.
All right, here's Jim Breach attempting the extra point. And Cincinnati now leading New England by the score of 31-7. All right, here's the rest of that sequence.
There's 2 more. That's Marion and Rember just trying to knock him down. That's 3. And then James goes for the ball. Is 4, and it looked as though for a second that the huge Kinnebrew was trying to help him into the end zone. So 4 missed tackles on that play alone. James Brooks with an outstanding day. 103 yards rushing, 101 yards receiving. And the other back, Wilson, also over 100 yards. That's over, let's see my quick math, that's 360 yards by the 2 backs alone.
This a record-breaking day all around. The Bengals now have accounted for 573 total yards, most ever against the Patriots, and that is the most ever accumulated by the Cincinnati Bengals.
And everything goes against the grain here. The Bengals had lost 4 straight to the Patriots. They lost 3 straight here in Foxborough.
14.
Their defense had not been playing well, the Bengal defense. The Patriots, the #1 team scoring coming in, have only scored 7 points against the Bengals defense that were like 26th in the league in allowing points. So if you're a Bengal fan, you've got to be impressed both offensively and defensively.
The kickoff by Breach. Starring. Running it out. Stephen Starring. Near the 25, stopped by Ron Simpkins with 5:18 remaining in in this fourth quarter. And I guess Sam Weish will not be kicking the door as he heads to the post-game news conference. Well, National Football League rules require that we present away games starting with the opening kickoff to the stations in the team's home area. So viewers in New York will be leaving this game in a few moments for a telecast involving your home club. However, we'll continue to bring you reports on this game to keep you up to date. Fryer on the catch as the Patriots go hurry up, 11-yard advance and a first down. Barney Bussey on the tackle. Boomer Esiason, as we mentioned earlier, had said, well, it won't be a high-scoring game. We're not going to score the points against the Patriots. And he has to be pleasantly surprised. Tony Collins.
Well, that just shows you how much the players know about this game. I mean, they certainly know how to get out there and play, but as far as who's going to win, sometimes they're the worst of it. We take a look at the domination of the Bengals today.
Looking at it from another way, if someone asks a question to the quarterback, he's not going to say, hey, we're going to kill him. We're going to score 40 points. Although with Boomer, you never know.
That's true.
Cedric Jones. Covered by Lewis Phillips. And the clock running down to 4:15 left. It's a third down and 1. Bengals with a commanding 31-7 lead. So this will pad the stats of Eason, who had a very long day. Beatty on the catch.
You had to wonder, too, Marv, how much longer the Patriots were going to be able to play as poorly as they've been playing the last few weeks and still pull the games out. You know, we've talked about it before, and it's caught up with them here today. Eason not playing well, takes his 6th sack, I believe it is. And it's just tough when a quarterback has to carry the entire load. You cannot do it without a running game, and he's had injuries to his offensive backs. He's lost some leadership on defense. And the Bengals probably needed this win more than the Patriots.
And Browner with the sack. He has 5.5 on the season. Incomplete. Morgan unable to hang on. The clock stopped. 3:27 left. It'll be a third down and 13. Boomer Esiason, 17 for 31 day, 284 yards. And he and Sam Weish have had some disagreements. Boomer did not appreciate being benched 4 weeks ago in the game against Houston. And he says his relationship with Weish is sometimes a soap opera sort of thing.
But he also said, he says, a little controversy every now and then is good. And Sam said taking him out when he came back in, he certainly played a heck of a lot better.
Pass intended for Cedric Jones. Ray Horton, the defensive back on the scene.
I think the thing Boomer objected to in that Houston game was that he was being the scapegoat of the whole thing, but I don't think that was Weich's plan at all. As you see him getting along much better at this point, I think it was just Sam's way of shaking up the team. If you take out a left guard, you're not going to shake up the team or replace it back, but if you take out the quarterback, that's going to shake some people up.
Fourth down play for Eason and the Patriots. And has the first down. Fryer stopped by Phillips.
Everything Fryer on that reception. Back in Bengals territory, 38.
We approach 3 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter. And now the clock is stopped. Apparently they're calling for the yardsticks. Looked to be right at the marker. It appeared from this angle that he picked it up. And he did.
First down for the Patriots.
Yes, the crowd filing out late in the third quarter. This began as a sellout, close to 61. And a first down inside the 40. Eason couldn't find anyone, and it is ruled incomplete. Beatty trying to short hop it. Well, the New England Patriots came into today looking for a victory that would clinch at least a wild card playoff berth. A New England win plus a Raider loss to Seattle tomorrow night would have guaranteed the Patriots, in fact, playing a wild card at home. But forget about that with the loss here to the Cincinnati Bengals. The catch and running it out, followed by the free safety Robert Jackson. Right here, let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
Channel 5, WLWT, Cincinnati.
And there's New England head coach Raymond Berry, who would not talk about the Patriots running game with reporters during the week. He said he did not want to talk about another negative, but there will be many negatives that he will have to discuss this week. 2.5 remaining. And Fryer to the sideline has the first down.
It's a first down for the Patriots.
Fourth catch of the day by Fryer. Assuming that the Browns go on to victory and the Bengals with the loss here today, this is the way the standings will look.
With 2 games remaining, and those 2 teams play next week. Cleveland is at Cincinnati, and if Cincinnati wins the game, then they're tied at 10-5, and Cincinnati would have won the head-to-head match and would get the nod.
Easton able to complete to Fryer. So it'll be a first and goal, a 19-yard play, and coming up the 13th play of the drive. Clock approaching 2 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter.
Well, I can't believe he didn't get the ball off. He obviously wasn't looking at the game clock. He was looking at the 25-second clock, or the 30-second.
And there is the 2-minute warning. We'll be back in a moment. And right here, time for the Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser. And today's MVP is running back James Brooks from the Bengals. And what a day he had. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's game. 6 catches, 101 yards. 18 carries, 163 yards, 264 total yards, also scored a touchdown. James Brooks combining with Stanley Wilson, who also went over 100. Patriots first and goal from the 3, trailing 31-7. Eason has it batted down. Barney Bussey, the rookie from South Carolina State. Pass intended for Stanley Morgan.
Here's a look at the overall playoff picture. 5 teams make the playoffs. This is assuming that Cleveland wins their game and Cincinnati also wins their game. Denver is losing.
Played them hard out against Seattle. Seattle and KC still have a mathematical chance. And let's see, did it take a hop? Did he catch it? Tony Collins on the reception. A flag was thrown. Check that Cedric Jones on the reception. And Cincinnati players feel that he short hopped it. Let's see.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 69 defense. Half the distance, automatic first down.
Tim Crumry called on the personal foul, and it was an incomplete pass, a short hop, although the Patriots gave it the touchdown sign. Here it is.
Easton not throwing the ball very well. The ball hits the ground, as you can see. Throwing the ball off his back foot, nose of the ball down.
So along with the Patriots indicating touchdown, the official did too.
Yeah. I thought the ball was on the ground, and
a lot of action off that play.
Now we're told that it's second down. Let's take another look. No, he catches it. He caught it.
I don't know. Very tough to tell from that angle.
Well, he got his hands underneath it, and it didn't appear from the other angle that he dropped it after he had his hands under it, but it's an incompletion, and they're going for another play.
It's first and goal from the 2. And now Eason pegs it, and it's intercepted. And this is Fulcher. Now, wait a moment. The official in the New England end zone may have indicated touchdown New England, and the ball was stripped by the strong safety, David Fulcher.
You have 5 of the officials down in the end zone. One of them is signifying touchdown to our right, and Bob McElwee, the referee, was down on the other end zone signaling touchdown the other way.
A bizarre finish. We still have 1:43 minutes to go, so Fulcher apparently stripped it.
Well, the ruling is possession and both feet clearly on the ground. Sam with a little smile on his face. Can't believe this is happening to him after last week.
Touchdown, New England.
So Cedric Jones, who made the catch, gets credit for the touchdown. Nice workout, though, for the strong safety, David Fulcher.
I'd like to have pay a penny for the thoughts of Sam White at this moment.
No, he's enjoying it now.
Let's see. Does he have possession? His feet are in. But the ball's in the air. He's got to have his feet and possession at the same time.
Cincinnati is called for time.
Take another look. There he has possession. No, his feet weren't on the ground. maybe Sam called for timeout.
Well, I think he wants them to take a look at it.
24.
All right, we'll be right back.
Washington Redskins.
It was there.
One of the wackiest plays of the year. And apparently the replay official, Joe Gardy, is checking it out because, as you may have seen...
Let's look at another angle. Now watch this. This is really close. He has to have possession and both feet on the ground. Now watch. He's got the ball, but his feet aren't on the ground yet. Now the ball comes out and his feet are on the ground. Now, the rule is indisputable visual evidence. That was pretty close, but if I were calling it, I'd have to say his feet weren't on the ground the same time he had the ball. Let's take another look. Sam White's calling a timeout, I think, just to give it to the officials. He's in. The ball's out. That's a good shot right there. That's a good shot. Oh, we got all kinds of shots there. His feet aren't on the ground. I think that the one we just had before that is the best.
Our director Ted Nathanson and producer David Neal having a field day. And then Fulcher went the distance, so we had a sequence where we had one official in the New England end zone putting the 2 hands up for the touchdown, and I believe an official at the other end indicated.
After further review by the replay official, the interception is good. However, a whistle was blown while the Cincinnati player was running with the ball. The whistle was blown when the interceptor was at the 5-yard line. The ball will go to Cincinnati with a good interception. First down on their own 5-yard line.
A compromise call. The inadvertent whistle, which Weish has complained about on a number of occasions, but
this seems to be following Sam White around from week to week. Last week in Denver, the Cincinnati had a fumble on the kickoff, ran it in, and an inadvertent whistle stopped the play, which went against the Bengals. And this one again goes against the Bengals. But the rule is in the league, if the play is reversed, but there was a whistle, then it it reverts back. So it takes the touchdown away from Tony Eason and away from the Bengals, but gives possession. What a strange turn of events.
As it turns out, it's an exercise in the instant replay because the touchdown either way has no meaning with 1:43 left. And Sam Weish can enjoy this one. If it were different circumstances, he would not, because he would claim that the whistle hadn't blown, because he's been saying all along that officials have been saying whistles have blown plays dead, but actually haven't.
Ken Anderson put his hand over the mouth of Sam Weish. I think Sam was yelling at the side judge there. Sam obviously took a timeout to give him time to look at it.
We're told that this word from the replay booth, which is being manned by Joe Gardy, a one-time assistant coach in the NFL, that he broke the tie. One official on the field thought it was a touchdown. The other on the scene said interception, and Gardy looked at the replay and saw what you saw a moment ago.
But I think they came out with the right decision. And both calls that were critical in this game today, I think the right decision was finally reached. And, you know, it's just a matter of whether or not you want to take the time to get the right decision on the instant replay, or whether or not you want to do away with instant replay and sometimes not have the right decision.
All right, Stanford Jennings on the carry. Doig and Hodge combined to make the stop. Time running down. 35 seconds remaining in what has concluded in wild fashion. The Jets at San Francisco will follow the Bengals and the Patriots. That is next from Candlestick in San Francisco, and a game that New England fans will have great interest in. The Jets with a record of 10-3. Siason just covering up. So Cincinnati finishing with 584 total yards. Their first victory over the Patriots since 1975. Patriots had won the last 4. Patriots dropped to a record of 10-4. And the Cincinnati Bengals go 9-5. They have defeated the Patriots by the score of 31-7. Thanks to our spotters Joe Pereski and Adam Shinnick, our statistician Ross Schneiderman.
Your cooperation is greatly appreciated.
We'll be back here in Foxborough right after we pause for these messages.